The warning. The message arrived at Earth Central Command at 3:47 hours. Commander Elena Torres was pulled from sleep by the insistent beeping of her neural implant. 20 years of military service had conditioned her to wake instantly, alert and ready. The priority code flashing in her augmented vision made her blood run cold. Torres, authenticated. Display message. The holographic display above her bed flickered to life. Static first, then the face of Captain Marcus Chen appeared. His normally composed features were strained, a gash across his forehead leaking blood that he hadn't bothered to wipe away. "This is Captain Chen of Outpost Helios. We are under attack by unknown hostiles." His voice was steady despite the chaos Torres could hear in the background. They came without warning. Our defenses. The transmission flickered. Completely overwhelmed. These aren't raiders or pirates. These aren't like anything we've encountered. The camera shook violently. Screams echoed somewhere off-screen. Chen looked over his shoulder, then back at the camera, eyes wide. "I'm sending our sensor data. God help us all." The screen split to show tactical information. What Torres saw made her sit upright. The aliens moved with impossible speed, their biology defying everything humanity knew about carbon-based life. Standard military units were being decimated in seconds. The feed cut to security footage. Torres watched as something vaguely humanoid, but much larger, tore through a squad of colonial marines. It moved too fast for the camera to capture clearly, just a blur of motion and arterial spray. Chen's face returned, ashen now. "They're not stopping at Helios. Warn Earth. Prepare." Behind him, a shadow loomed. The feed cut to static. Torres was already moving, activating emergency protocols. Within 15 minutes, the highest-ranking military and government officials were assembled in the Crisis Command Center. "The footage is authentic," confirmed Admiral Javier Reyes after they reviewed it. "This is unlike anything we've encountered before." "How many colonists on Helios?" asked Secretary General Wei. 17,000, Torres replied. "And they're just the beginning if these things reach the inner colonies." Defense Minister Okafor leaned forward. "What options do we have?" "Conventional forces would be slaughtered," Reyes said flatly. "You saw the footage. Regular troops don't stand a chance." The room fell silent until Torres spoke the words everyone feared. "We need to activate the Sigma Protocol." The reaction was immediate. Several officials stood up in protest. "Those people were locked away for a reason," Okafor said, voice tight with anger. "They're too dangerous, too unpredictable. More dangerous than what we just saw." Torres countered. The Sigma Protocol was created for exactly this scenario, a threat beyond conventional response. "They're monsters," someone muttered. "They're soldiers," Torres corrected. "The most lethal warriors humanity ever produced." Yes, they were deemed too dangerous for peacetime society, but we're not at peace anymore. The debate raged for hours. Eventually, the Secretary General made the call. "Activate the Sigma Protocol. Full authority, all resources." Torres didn't wait. As dawn broke over the horizon, her shuttle was already heading to a facility buried deep beneath the Martian surface, a place that officially didn't exist, housing warriors that humanity had tried to forget. The facility known as the Vault was buried 2 kilometers beneath the Martian surface. Its existence had been purged from official records a decade ago. Torres stood before a massive door marked simply S1. "How long has it been?" Torres asked the facility director. 8 years since we put him under," replied Director Patel, a thin woman with tired eyes. "Vega was the last one we contained, also the most dangerous." "Open it," Torres ordered. The room beyond was stark white. In its center stood a vertical cryostasis chamber. Inside floated a man, eyes closed as if in peaceful sleep, but there was nothing peaceful about Major Gabriel Vega's appearance. His body was a map of scars and military-grade biomods, muscle density far beyond human norm, bones reinforced with carbon fiber weave. "Begin revival sequence," Paddle said to her technicians. The cryofluid drained. Vega's eyes snapped open instantly, pale gray and unnervingly alert. No confusion, no disorientation. He was combat-ready the moment consciousness returned. The chamber hissed open. Vega stepped out, body glistening with cryofluid. He studied Torres with cold precision. "Commander," Vega said, voice rough from years of disuse. "This must be serious." A technician offered Vega clothing but stepped back nervously when the warrior turned his gaze on him. Everyone in the room knew Vega's history, what he had done during the Jupiter conflict, the stations that had been sacrificed to secure victory. Vega dressed methodically. "I assume you're waking the others." "All of them," Torres confirmed. "The full Sigma team." Vega's face remained impassive, but something flickered in his eyes. Perhaps satisfaction. "Show me what we're facing," he said. While Vega reviewed the Helios footage, Torres and Patul walked to the adjacent chambers. Each held a warrior with unique modifications and capabilities. Each had been deemed too destructive, too unpredictable for normal society. "S2, Nora Blackwood," Patul said as they passed the next chamber. Inside floated a woman whose dark skin seemed to ripple with subsurface patterns. Experimental adaptive camouflage integrated directly into her dermis. Can become virtually invisible to most detection methods. "And the price?" Torres asked. "Extreme sensory hypersensitivity. Every touch, sound, and light is amplified. It drives most subjects insane. She manages it through focused discipline." They moved to the next chamber. "S3, Hiroshi Takeda. Neurological modifications allow him to process information at superhuman speeds, reaction time measured in microseconds. The drawback? He can't turn it off. Experiences every moment of life at that speed. A minute feels like an hour, a day like a week." They continued down the line. "S4, Alexa Rodriguez with enhanced muscular systems that gave her impossible strength, but required constant protein intake to prevent cellular breakdown. And S5, Isaac Chen, brother of Marcus Chen from Helios, living weapon system with embedded armaments, but chronic phantom pain from the integration." Each warrior represented the pinnacle of military enhancement technology. Each paid a terrible price for their power. When they returned to the main chamber, Vega had finished reviewing the data. He stood motionless, staring at the frozen image of the alien attacker. "Well?" Torres asked. "They're fast, strong, organized," Vega assessed. "But they can be killed. How can you be sure?" Vega's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "Because I've killed things that were supposed to be unkillable before." As the other Sigma warriors awakened, they gathered in the briefing room. There were no warm greetings, no camaraderie, no friendly banter, just cold recognition between weapons that had once been human. "These aliens made one mistake," Vega told his team as they prepared for deployment. "They showed us what they can do." "And what's our mission?" asked Takeda, his eyes constantly darting around, experiencing time differently than everyone else. Vega's answer was simple: hunt, kill, exterminate. For the first time in 8 years, humanity's deadliest weapons were being aimed at a target, and despite all they had sacrificed, all they had lost, they found purpose in it. The military vessel Nemesis cut through the darkness of space, its engines burning with quiet efficiency. Built for war rather than comfort, it was the fastest ship in the fleet. Even so, reaching the alien invasion front would take 5 days. Major Vega stood at the observation window, staring into the void. Behind him, regular crew members worked at their stations, casting nervous glances his way. They had been briefed about the Sigma team, warned to keep their distance. Captain Maya Lin approached Vega, her footsteps deliberately loud to announce her presence. She had commanded the Nemesis for 4 years through 2 combat deployments. Nothing in her experience had prepared her for transporting living weapons. "Major," she said, "we'll be passing the Europa outpost in 3 hours." They'd gone silent. Vega didn't turn. "You want to stop and check. It's a research station of 300 people. It's a detour we can't afford. Vega finally faced her. By the time we reached the invasion front, there might be nothing left to save. Lynn's jaw tightened. These are human lives we're talking about, which is why we can't waste time. Every hour matters. Vega's voice was calm, emotionless. But send your drones to reconnoiter. No landing. Visual confirmation only. It was a compromise. Lynn nodded and left to give the orders. In the ship's mess hall, the rest of the Sigma team sat together at a table, separated from the regular crew. Takeda ate with mechanical precision, his movements unnaturally quick. Blackwood wore dark glasses, even in the dimmed light of the mess hall. Rodriguez consumed a plate piled with protein. Chen hadn't touched his food, his attention focused on maintaining his embedded weapon systems. They're afraid of us, Rodriguez observed, watching the crew watching them. They should be, Takeda replied, his words slightly too fast, like a recording played at higher speed. Vega entered the mess hall. The regular crew members tensed, conversations dying. He ignored them, taking a seat with his team. Europa Station is our first stop, he informed them. Reconnaissance only. Blackwood looked up from her barely touched food. You think we'll find survivors? No. 2 hours later, the drones returned from Europa. Their visual feeds, displayed on the Nemesis's main screen, showed devastation beyond imagination. The station had been torn open, bodies floating in the vacuum. The attack pattern was identical to what they'd seen on Helios's transmission. They're moving faster than we thought, Vega told the team as they studied the footage. This station was attacked just 36 hours ago. They're heading toward Earth. Chen noted, his fingers absently stroking the weapon ports embedded in his forearms. Captain Lin joined them, her face pale after viewing the destruction. We're receiving distress calls from the Mars colony now, she said. They're under attack. Mars is 3 days from here, Vega calculated. Plot a course, Lin ordered her navigation officer. But Helios, the officer began, is already lost, Vega finished for him. We go where we can still make a difference. The Nemesis changed course, pushing its engines beyond safety limits. As they approached Mars, long-range scanners detected a ship leaving the area. Alien vessel, the sensor officer reported. Size suggests a scout ship rather than a main force. Vega's eyes narrowed. Can we intercept? Yes, but we have to abandon the rescue mission at Mars. The Sigma team exchanged looks. This was their first chance to engage the enemy, to test themselves against the threat. Intercept, Vega ordered. If we can capture their scout, we learn their weaknesses. Captain Lin stared at him in disbelief. Mars has 12 million civilians. And if we don't understand what we're fighting, billions will die across the solar system. Vega's face showed no emotion. This is war, Captain. Sacrifices must be made. As the Nemesis changed course again, pursuing the alien scout ship, a cold atmosphere settled over the bridge. The regular crew looked at the Sigma team with new understanding. They weren't just dangerous because of their enhanced bodies. They were dangerous because they fought differently. To them, the mission was everything. Individual lives were just numbers in a larger equation. The hunt had begun. The response. The Nemesis closed in on the alien scout ship, a sleek vessel that resembled a dark, elongated teardrop. It moved with startling speed and agility, but the human warship had the advantage of surprise. Firing disabler pulse, announced the weapons officer. A wave of electromagnetic energy erupted from the Nemesis, enveloping the alien craft. Its systems flickered and failed. The ship drifted, powerless in the void. Vega turned to his team. Suit up. We board in 5 minutes. In the armory, the Sigma warriors prepared for battle. Unlike standard soldiers with their bulky armor, the enhanced fighters needed minimal protection. Blackwood wore a light skin suit that wouldn't interfere with her camouflage abilities. Takeda donned a sleek jumpsuit designed not to slow hyper-accelerated movements. Rodriguez strapped on reinforced gauntlets that could channel her enormous strength. Standard formation, Vega instructed. Takeda takes point. Rodriguez and Blackwood as heavy support. Chen on tactical. I'll command. Captain Lin watched from the doorway. We have no idea what's waiting for you in there. Vega checked his sidearm, a custom weapon that fired ammunition designed to shatter on impact, causing maximum internal damage. That's the point, Captain. We're about to find out. The boarding shuttle latched onto the alien vessel with a metallic clang. Cutting tools burned through the hull, creating an entry point. Takeda moved first, his enhanced reflexes making his movements a blur to normal human eyes. 3 hostiles, he reported over the comm. Left corridor. Vega signaled, and the team entered the alien ship. The interior was dimly lit with a bluish glow. The atmosphere was breathable, but carried a sweet metallic smell. They encountered the first alien within seconds. It was taller than a human, with a segmented exoskeleton and 4 upper limbs. It moved with frightening speed toward them. Takeda was faster. He darted forward, combat knife finding gaps in the creature's armor. The alien shrieked, a high-pitched sound that made the human's combat implants automatically dampen their audio input. 2 more creatures rounded the corner. Rodriguez met them head-on, her enhanced muscles allowing her to grapple with the aliens despite their superior size. She slammed one into the bulkhead with enough force to crack its exoskeleton. Dark fluid sprayed across the corridor. Blackwood had already disappeared, her camouflage rendering her invisible. The third alien suddenly jerked, blood spraying from its throat where an unseen blade had struck. Move deeper, Vega ordered. Find the command center. They fought their way through the ship, encountering more aliens. The Sigma team's enhancements gave them the edge in close quarters. What they lacked in numbers, they made up for in raw lethality. Chen's embedded weapons proved devastating in the confined spaces. Micro-missiles launched from ports in his forearms, guided by his neural link to find vulnerable points in the alien's armor. Commander, Takeda called, his voice crisp over the comm. I found something. The team converged on his position. Takeda stood before what appeared to be a data terminal. Alien symbols scrolled across its surface. Can we access it? Vega asked. Chen stepped forward. My implants include translation matrices. I can try. He placed his hand on the terminal. His eyes unfocused as his neural implants interfaced with the alien technology. Minutes passed as the team secured the area. I have something, Chen finally said. They call themselves the Karax. They're not invaders, not exactly. Explain, Vega demanded. They're running from something. Something they call the Devourer. They're searching for suitable worlds to colonize, but they consider existing sentient life incompatible. So they exterminate us first, Rodriguez said. They don't see it as extermination, Chen continued. They see it as preparation, clearing. They believe they're entitled to these worlds. Can you access their tactical data? Vega asked. Fleet positions, numbers. Chen's face went slack again as he delved deeper. Yes, their main fleet is gathered at Jupiter's orbit. They're preparing for a final push to Earth. There are thousands of ships. Weaknesses, Blackwood asked, appearing suddenly beside them, her camouflage deactivated. They have enhanced exoskeletons, but their internal organs are vulnerable. They rely heavily on a hive mind communication system. And Chen paused. They're terrified of something. Not just the devourer they're fleeing from. Something else. Something they found here, in our solar system. What? Vega pressed. I don't know. The data is fragmented. But whatever it is, they're accelerating their timeline because of it. An alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Alien symbols flashed red on the terminal. What's happening? Vega demanded. Self-destruct sequence, Chen reported, pulling his hand away from the terminal. They have safeguards I triggered. How long? 10 minutes. Take everything you can from their systems, Vega ordered. Then we move. As they prepared to withdraw, Takeda held up his hand. Wait. Something's coming. Something big. The ship shuddered as something docked with it on the opposite side from the Nemesis. The team could hear heavy, rhythmic thumping, like massive footsteps. New plan, Vega decided. We stay hidden. See what's boarding. The team took concealment positions, Blackwood completely invisible, the others using the alien ship's architecture for cover. The footsteps grew louder. Around the corner came something that made even the Sigma team pause. It stood 3 meters tall, vaguely humanoid, but with too many joints in its limbs. Its body seemed to be made of living metal that rippled and flowed. Where a face should be, there was only a smooth, reflective surface. Is that one of them? Rodriguez whispered. No, Chen replied, his implant scanning. It's different. Completely different biological signature. The entity moved through the ship with purposeful steps. It paused at the bodies of the aliens they had killed, examining them without apparent emotion. Then it continued toward the command center. It's heading for the terminal, Vega realized. Follow it, but maintain distance. The entity reached the terminal and placed a hand on it. The alien symbols stopped flashing red. The self-destruct canceled. Then it turned, its featureless face pointing directly at their hiding positions. It knows we're here, Takeda said, tensing for combat. The entity raised its hands in what appeared to be a universal gesture of peace. Then, to their shock, it spoke in perfect English. I mean you no harm, humans. I am Sentinel, and I believe we have common enemies. For several seconds, no one moved. Then Vega stepped forward, weapon lowered but ready. What are you? I am a representative of what you might call the Guardians. We have been monitoring this sector of space for signs of Karax incursion. They are a plague that has consumed dozens of civilizations. And you fight them? Rodriguez asked, joining Vega. We contain them. This solar system is under our protection, though we arrived too late to prevent their initial attacks. We detected your boarding action and came to investigate. Vega studied the entity. If you're so powerful, why haven't you stopped them already? Our numbers are few, spread across many sectors. We cannot be everywhere at once. But humanity. The entity's smooth face rippled. You have surprised us. Most species fall quickly to the Karax. You not only resist but hunt them. Particularly you 5. You are different from the others. We're weapons, Blackwood said, deactivating her camouflage. Created to fight wars humans couldn't win. Then perhaps we can help each other, Sentinel said. I can provide you with information about the Karax fleet, their weaknesses, their command structure. In return, I ask that you carry a message to your leaders. What message? Vega asked. That they are not alone in this fight. That the Guardians stand ready to assist if humanity proves worthy. And how do we prove worthy? By showing us that you will use your strength to protect, not conquer, that creatures such as yourselves, it gestured to the Sigma team, can choose to be guardians rather than destroyers. The ship shuddered again. The Nemesis is signaling, Chen reported. Captain Lin is concerned. The alien fleet has changed course. They're heading this way. We need to move, Vega decided. Can you transfer the tactical data to our ship? Already done, Sentinel replied. But there is something else you should know. The Karax fear you, not just humanity, but specifically you enhanced humans. Your very existence terrifies them. Why? Takeda asked. Because you represent their greatest fear, a prey species that can evolve into a predator more dangerous than they are. They have encountered enhanced beings before, on worlds they tried to conquer. It did not end well for the Karax. Vega's lips curved in a cold smile. Good. The team made their way back to the Nemesis, Sentinel accompanying them. Captain Lin was understandably shocked by their new ally, but accepted Vega's brief explanation. The alien fleet will be here in less than an hour, she reported. We're outnumbered at least 50 to 1. Numbers won't matter, Vega said, reviewing the tactical data Sentinel had provided. Look here, their fleet structure. Each battle group is controlled by a single command ship. Take out the command ship, and the others become disorganized. And this is their flagship, Sentinel added, highlighting a massive vessel at the center of the approaching fleet. Destroy it, and the entire invasion force will be thrown into chaos. Lynn shook her head. We can't get close enough to attack it directly. Their perimeter defenses are too strong. We don't attack from the outside, Vega said. We get inside. All eyes turned to him. Sentinel can transport us directly to their flagship using Guardian technology. We infiltrate, fight our way to their central command, and destroy it from within. That's suicide, Lynn protested. No, Vega countered. That's what we were made for. The plan came together quickly. The Nemesis would engage the outer pickets of the Karax fleet, drawing attention away from the flagship. Meanwhile, Sentinel would transport the Sigma team directly into the heart of the command vessel. As they prepared for the mission, Rodriguez approached Vega privately. You know most of us won't make it back, she said. Vega checked his weapons without looking up. None of us were expected to live this long anyway. And you're okay with that? He finally met her gaze. I spent 8 years in stasis, dreaming of the lives I took. If today I die saving lives instead, that's a trade I'm willing to make. The moment came. The Nemesis engaged the outer Karax vessels. As alarms blared across the alien fleet, Sentinel activated the transport technology. Reality twisted around the Sigma team. When it stabilized, they stood in the cavernous interior of the Karax flagship. Alien crew members stared in shock at their sudden appearance. Positions, Vega ordered, and the team moved with practiced precision. What followed was a slaughter. The Sigma warriors tore through the alien crew, their enhanced abilities giving them an overwhelming advantage in close quarters. Takeda moved faster than the eye could follow, his blades finding vulnerable points in alien anatomy. Rodriguez crushed exoskeletons with her bare hands. Blackwood appeared and disappeared, leaving death in her wake. Chen's embedded weapon systems turned corridors into killing grounds. And Vega led them, cold and methodical, toward the ship's command center. They encountered heavier resistance as they approached their target. Elite Karax warriors with advanced weapons and armor challenged them. The team suffered injuries, a deep gash across Takeda's face, a broken arm for Rodriguez, plasma burns along Chen's side. Still, they pressed forward. The command center doors loomed before them, sealed and heavily guarded. Final push, Vega ordered. Everything you've got. They unleashed the full extent of their enhancements, pushing their modified bodies beyond safe limits. The guards fell. The doors buckled under Rodriguez's strength. Inside, they found what had to be the Karax leadership, larger specimens with ornate exoskeletons. At the center stood one that towered over the others, its carapace gleaming with embedded technology. It spoke, its voice translated by Chen's implants. So the abominations come at last, it said. The mistakes of evolution. We're not mistakes, Vega replied, advancing slowly. We're the future you feared. The Karax leader gestured, and hidden weapon systems emerged from the walls. You are nothing, it hissed. Your world will be cleansed, as all worlds must be for the Karax to thrive. Now, Chen, Vega ordered. Chen activated the final protocol in his weapon systems, the one that would overload his implants and create an explosion powerful enough to destroy the command center and cripple a flagship. For my brother, Chen whispered, thinking of Marcus at Helios Outpost. The Karax leader realized what was happening too late. It lunged toward them, but Takeda intercepted it, moving at impossible speed, his knife finding the gaps in its armor. As Chen's systems reached critical levels, the team formed a protective circle around him, fighting off the last desperate attacks of the Karax. The explosion, when it came, was blinding. Vega awoke in the medical bay of the Nemesis, his body wrapped in regeneration fields. Captain Lin stood beside his bed. You made it, she said. Most of you. Vega tried to sit up. Chen. Lin shook her head. He didn't make it. Neither did Takeda. Vega closed his eyes briefly. The mission. Successful. The Karax fleet fell into disarray after you destroyed their flagship. Guardian vessels arrived shortly after. Apparently your new friend called for reinforcements. The aliens are in full retreat. Vega nodded slightly, feeling the weight of Chen's and Takeda's sacrifices. And Earth. The colonies. Safe for now. The Secretary-General has already announced that the Sigma Protocol warriors who survived are to be recognized as heroes, not monsters. Your confinement is officially ended. Vega said nothing, trying to process what that meant. Later, when he could walk, he found Blackwood and Rodriguez in the observation deck, watching as Guardian ships escorted captured Karax vessels away from the solar system. What happens now? Rodriguez asked as he joined them. We don't exactly fit into normal society. No, Vega agreed. We don't. Sentinel offered us a place with the Guardians, Blackwood said quietly. Said creatures like us are rare in the galaxy. Beings who can withstand the enhancements necessary to face threats like the Karax. Vega watched the stars. For the first time in years, he felt something like purpose. The universe is larger and more dangerous than humanity realized, he said finally. It needs guardians. So we trade one war for another? Rodriguez asked. No, Vega replied. We trade being weapons for being shields. The three Sigma warriors stood in silence, watching the endless expanse of space, a place where they had finally found meaning for their existence. On Earth, humanity looked to the stars with new understanding. They were not alone, and the galaxy was not safe. But they had earned their place among the stars, not through diplomacy or trade, but through the courage and sacrifice of their deadliest children. The message that had started with a desperate cry for help from Outpost Helios had been answered. Humanity had unleashed its ultimate soldiers, and the galaxy would never forget.